They control
Any way you look at it, they're taxing or you're paying them.
Yep, they control your money, whether you're paying them or getting or whatever. And and they're private companies. They're not even government.
Exactly. Right here is one of Rothschild's favorite sayings, along with the Rockefellers. Who controls the issuances of money controls the government. I care not what puppet is in place on the throne of England to rule the empire. The man that controls the British money, controls this money, the supplies that controls. He's the one that controls the British Empire. I've controlled the British money. You know, this is going clear back to 1814 when all this has started taking place. This has been a long time thing. And the deeper the money gets, the bigger the scandals.
Yep. And it was actually the founding fathers that really kept the Rothschilds and the Rockefeller.
They hated them. They
hated them.
Stand them because of what they just went through in England with the taxation, and that's where we're at again.
Right. Now, some would ask your question, like, well, why would the founding fathers be against them? Weren't the founding fathers rich aristocrats as well? I mean,
they were tired of the tyrantry. They wanted freedom. They took off. They tried a life. They built a country. I mean,
okay.
They started, and they gave us freedoms that they envisioned, that they wish they had, and that people have died for these. I mean, we fought and died for these. We deserve to keep them. They're inalienable.
Right. Oh, yeah. Inalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And
Thank you.
Yeah, in the second paragraph of the Declaration of Independence. And that's I know another thing that you wanted to talk about was constitutional rights and stuff. And basically, looking at Obama, you see all these scandals and happening, and just the NDAA of 2013, you can pretty much cross off most of the Bill of Rights.
Yeah.
I mean, just that one alone.
The Second Amendment, we're done. We need to back Mark Chetzler. He's got the right idea. Pro the law enforcement, military, they're here for a reason. All of our military needs to stand down to any order to go to war until this land is protected. All UN soldiers are off our land before our soldiers go to war. Take them.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I mean, why would you leave them soldiers here and take our protection away from us? Now, we're not blind. You guys think we're blind. We see it. We take pictures every day of them traveling.
Yeah,
they're not taking nothing past any of us.
Yeah, I've seen them. I've seen them in pictures in Connecticut, in California, Oregon, in Kansas, and pictures all over the place of UN, troop or UN tanks or armored troop vehicles or DHS.
I just took a picture here in Baton Rouge last week with it had Islamic writing on the front of it.
Oh,
I know it ain't ours. I mean, come on.
Right. In Baton Rouge?
Yes, heading west on I-12.
Oh, boy.
I see them all the time. People are sending pictures. They're seeing this. We know what they're up to. They know this war ain't going to be pretty. They plan for it. They've had years. Right.
Well, and the one thing with any war that's happened on U.S. soil or dealing with the U.S., the Mississippi River has always been a key strategic point.
Control the port of New Orleans, you control the Mississippi River. Right there it is.
Yep.
And they've done it for years, every time. I mean, Andrew Jackson put martial law into New Orleans during that time because of the Mississippi River.
Yeah. Or if you take control of the Great Lakes, or because I'm up here in Minnesota where the Mississippi River starts.
Right. I lived in Illinois, so I was right there, too. I've seen it. I mean, I know how the river traffic goes. If we control that, you've controlled commerce.
Right.
It's up to us to stop this before they get this, though. Follow Mark. I mean, Mark and Joe, back these guys. They're officers of the law. They're true patriots.
Oh, I definitely back Sheriff Joe.
Officer Mark Chancellor, he's right in their face. It's got to be done, though. He's right. We don't have any more time.
No.
I mean, he sees these troops building. Watch Red Dawn. I mean, do you want to live like that? Well, none of us do. We've got to stop it. We've got to back the right people. Kokesh ain't it.
So,
I mean, that's my opinion. I don't care who likes it, who don't. He's a nutcase.
so now let me ask you though, from what you've seen and heard and who you've talked to, if you were to give your best guess on how long we have, what would you say?
From a military background, a military look, they've been building. We've been reporting this stuff for 4 to 6 months. Look, 4 months ago when we started seeing the heavy influx of the equipment, everybody wondered, but it was still questionable. It's slowed down. They're in place. They're stocking up. They're putting food in place. They're setting their points. I mean, we don't have a whole hell of a lot of time at all.
And do you think we'll get to 2014 or no?
No, I think that's all the mission. They ain't going to allow that. Why do you think they want to send troops over to Syria now? I mean, let's get our fighters out of here because these guys ain't going to shoot on their own family. But none of these other guys are thinking, hey, once I'm outside of this little protection, I got family out here and friends. Can I do it? I don't know how brainwashed the DHS is. Hopefully there's going to be some rogues and they're going to kill people. There's going to be a lot of death. But yeah, I'm hoping the American spirit says, oh, this ain't happening.
Right. Well, and this is actually, what you just said, sending troops to Syria, that's kind of news to me. But then again, I don't watch the mainstream news or even my local news, just whatever I find on the internet. But I did hear reports of a possible nuclear blast or whatever fired from Israel. But is the U.S. actually talking about sending troops to Syria now?
I'm hearing reports of people being called on alert. I can't say for sure. I'm just outside the loop. I'm a country boy, but I hear what I hear. But they're not getting them ready for something. And I'm hearing war out of the country. They're wanting to send troops out. It's not good.
Okay, now we have a question in our chat room here, Kevin. It's from William Vaughn. He writes, in this day and age, does the UN invasion need New Orleans with all the other ports that are available?
Not really, because nowadays you control the skies, you control everything. I mean, who do we have that could fight against F-16s? We don't have that in our personal army. So, air superiority is going to take over.
Right. I think that's one of the crucial things that we need the U.S. Armed Forces on our side because they would.
But the ports are effective for transporting large, heavy quantities of goods quickly. So, you still have to have all your ports.
Right. And of course, there's the all major ports, minor ports, stuff like that. But one over in San Diego, the deep water port, the only deep water port on the West Coast, was given to China.
Right. And they're starting to circle us too. I mean, the reports I'm seeing, it's out there. People are reporting this stuff. You got to read it. You got to believe it. They're not just putting all this stuff out there fake. The government's throwing the propaganda at us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you don't believe that, then just look at all these scandals. I mean, come on. I was a Democrat during the Clinton administration, and it wasn't this bad. Coming out with all these different scandals.
I come from Central Illinois. I mean, Union. It's Union up there. You were Democrat. You backed the Democrats because that's what backed their money. Now, I'm not no party. I look at them, see who's going to do me the best. If none of them, I'll vote for myself. I don't care. They're not getting my vote. Exactly. I'm not just going to political party up.
Right. Well, exactly. And that's where I'm at, too. If anyone were to ask me, I'm more of a moderate. I can care less about political.
Constitutionalist.
There you go. Constitutionalist, yeah. Now, let's see what else here. Now, let's go back to Obama. If Obama, in his birth certificate, he's found to be, is a forgery.
It's a fraud.
Okay, let's say it is found to be a fraud. Okay, he's arrested for forgery, but, then is he deported or,
That is treason then.
But how can he be tried for treason if he's not a U.S. citizen?
You don't have to be a U.S. citizen to be tried. If anything that's getting rid of your... Let's see here.
I was going to say, I thought you had to be a U.S. citizen to be tried for treason against the U.S. That's. I was just kind of wondering because like, when he just be charged with a heavy federal fraud case or defrauding the U.S. government and then arrested and then deported, or would he actually stand trial for treason?
He's got to stand trial for treason. He's gave up our secrets to our wars, anything that applies to that. I mean, levies wars against the United States or adheres to enemies by giving the aid and comfort has committed treason. I mean, he's done this every war. He's gave aid and comfort to our enemy.
Right.
Number one reason.
Right. Well, yeah, and he's him and Kerry
acts of disloyalty during peacetime. He's not been honest to us yet. There's treason.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too is they're giving $1.3 billion to Egypt again, the Muslim Brotherhood.
Well,
in the form of,
we're on a sequester. We can't afford to even give our vets good VA treatment, anything, housing. We can't seal our own borders. We can seal the borders between Pakistan and Afghanistan. Come on, let's not be delusional here. Bring home everybody here. Worry about home first, then we'll worry about our else of freedom. We're losing ours.
Right. Well, and that's the same message that Ron Paul had stated during the 2012 campaign, was bring all our troops home. And some were saying yes, that's a good idea, and others were saying bring the majority of them home, but leave some in key economic areas such as like South Korea, and because if we were to leave South Korea and Japan, North Korea would just go take over South Korea.
We can't do nothing against China. China wants that area, they're taking it. I mean, right now they're worried about us. We owe them so much money right now. I guess we're going to change their names. I don't know. I mean, there's a reason they're putting all these arming everything around us, bringing ships this away, aircraft carrier killers. I mean, and we're allowing this. They used to get a junket out there, and we'd hear reports. So we didn't hear about this until they're in place.
Yeah, sounds like a hostile takeover of a corporation, doesn't it?
It is a hostile takeover of a corporation. I mean, we've been downgraded on our financial basis. A year ago, 12 months ago, whatever it was, from number one to number two, Canada, Europe, every other country out there.
Right, and a lot of other countries in the European Union, as well as China and Russia, going away from the U.S. dollar as a global currency for oil and stuff, and instead changing to the Chinese yen or Japanese won or...
Exactly, because we don't hold power on it.
Right, or they're even taking their chances with the euro versus the U.S. dollar.
Look, we printed money. Has anybody seen the gold that covers this? They say it's there, but when was the last time it was ever audited with a public available? Not somebody's got their hand in somebody else's pocket. Let the public audit it.
Exactly. Well, and
everything's been based on all this gold, the gold standard, and nobody knows there ain't no gold. We all know this.
Yeah, they say Fort Knox is filled with gold bars and everything, and it's probably just an empty room.
But the biggest thing we got to worry about now is getting people to unite. I mean, that's the reason Dobrob's got the idea. He's got the idea, and these people need to jump on board with Sheriff Joe, Chief Mark. I mean, these guys have to do it. All these sheriffs are standing because they know that it's wrong. They are the highest elected official in our county. There's nobody comes in. They are elected by us people. The other people are appointed. These men are the men we need. We have to back them.
Right, and thank God, at least in my county, my sheriff is one of those. I mean, he's not publicly made it known, but you call him up and ask him, he'll tell you he's all for the Second Amendment, and there's no way of federal government's coming in and enforcing unconstitutional rights in his county.
We have to keep these guns no matter what, whether it becomes a law or not. We have to keep our guns.
Right.
I mean, there's nothing that's going to protect us. Look at the genocide through the history. As soon as they disarmed their dissidents, it was mass genocide.
Right, and I would go as far as to say, let's just take worst case scenario. Okay, the federal government has a nationwide gun ban. Okay, and they're coming to confiscate or whatever. You know what? Keep your guns. Break the law because it's an unconstitutional law.